Hi friends, this is Mona from Rock City Tumblers, and today I was going to show you a tutorial on how I did these blinged Papermate InkJoy Gel Ink Pens. So I used rhinestones and glue and was able to make a few of them in one day, just working on them little by little. So if you're not familiar with the craze, these are just regular ink pens that a lot of resin artists are putting glitter on and then coating them in resin. So if you're interested in playing with these pens but you don't want to use the resin, then this is a great way to have fun, and they're super gorgeous, and it's just something fun to have at your desk. Makes a great gift. You can do different colors. So let's get started. Hi friends, this is Mona, and I was going to do a quick tutorial, and this will be several pieces that I'll edit together, on how to bling, like this, one of the InkJoy pens. This one started out as a black pen. It's because you can see it has the black little tip here, and I spray paint. I think I used Dixie Belle Slick Stick, which is a white prime color, on it, and then I spray painted it silver. So this is what it looked like when it was spray painted silver. It's a metallic silver, and the clicker and the ink and the guts and the little tip are taken out. So this is just the barrel. I did sand it and wash it with Blue Dawn before I painted it. If you want to see how to prep those, I have another video that's a full tutorial on these gel ink pens. If you're going to epoxy them, the prepping is the same way. So after I let the spray paint dry, I began to put these stones in the honeycomb pattern on here. So these are clear rhinestones. They're the Jolly brand, I think. A friend of mine gave them to me. She had bought the Bling and decided she didn't want to do it. They're size SS12. So I'd seen some other people do this, but I didn't. They did not comment what size, so I was letting y'all know what size. So you can see the honeycomb pattern, and it does make the pen. Here's a pen that has epoxy on it. It does make it a little bit fatter than the epoxy pens. I don't know if I can do that for you guys. You could possibly do the SS10 stones, and it might be smaller. You know, but I was just going to show you on the 12. The SS10 would take a lot longer time because, of course, they're smaller. So that's how much fatter it is. Usually the first thing people ask when they see it is it uncomfortable to write with? Lost all my sticky notes. You know, it's just a fat pen. I mean, I can feel the stones in my hand. I'm looking at the camera now, looking at what I'm writing. You know, it is what it is, you know. Probably no more uncomfortable than wearing false eyelashes or high heels, you know. So, but it does go great with my blinged stuff on my desk. So I was going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to start one, and my advice on these is to try to make like 4 or 5 all at one time, because I'm going to start on this first row and then walk away. I'm going to let that first row dry really well. That way I have something to butt up the next rows against. So if you start the first row and then you go to row 2 and 3, row 2 and 3 are going to push row 1 down past where you need it to be because the glue's not dry. So I have 4 pens here prepped and ready to go, and these are just chopsticks that happen to fit perfectly. Whoop. A little stuck with the paint. The little square end of the chopstick, but you can also use 1/4-inch dowels. You can get those at Home Depot, or even Walmart has them. Some people will use colored pencils or even a number 2 pencil. Some number 2 pencils work just to, as a kind of a holder for these. But really, you know, you can hold one end like the actual pen while you're doing this end. And then once this side's dry, you can hold this side while you're finishing this end. Now, the very tip did need some smaller stones because there wasn't enough size left over, and the tip of it also, where the clicker is, curves in. And so you're going to have to use some super fine. So I'll cover that in just one second. So there is no epoxy used on these, on this. So if you are looking for an epoxy-free way to make these pens, you don't need a spinner, you don't need a turner, you just need some dowels or something to hold them while you paint them. So yeah, okay, so I don't like to use acrylic paint on here. I tried and it just doesn't seem to dry. It just kind of is gunked up, and kind of like, you know, when you get too much nail polish on your nail, you know, it kind of never seems to dry. That's just what happens to me anyway. Okay, so stones. I'm going to use this set that I got from Pink and Purple Monkey. Amy has rhinestone. I think she said she's getting some more colors. I don't know what sizes she has, but this was like a group, a smaller size. It came with 1, 2, 4 different sizes. The SS12, that stands for stone size, SS10, SS8, and SS6. So you can see these are fillers. So the 12s are going to be the bulk of the pen, and then the rest will be for the very tip. And these are all crystal AB colored. You can see here, crystal AB. So when I'm starting out, I like to put them in a container. So I have some of these. I bought a bunch of these glass jars. You can use to-go containers. If you go to KFC, their little snack side containers are great. Just put them in the dishwasher. Those are great for this kind of stuff. So I like to put them in here, and I don't have my heat gun. Sometimes you can heat gun the label off, but I'm just going to take a sticky note and tape it on the top with the brand and the size. These are SS10 ppm. And I can even put a little piece of tape on that to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. So when I'm ready to use them, I can just dump them in the lid and pick them up like that. And when I'm finished, just dump them back in the jar. And I'm ready to go, because I'm going to have these out quite a bit while I'm working on these pens. Okay, so you're also, in addition to the pen, you can get these pens at a lot of Walmarts have them. Make sure you get the ones with the clicker on them. I checked our Dollar General and they had them, but they had a cap. So you don't want the ones with the cap that goes in the end. Again, watch my tutorial that shows you how to prep them completely. It's here on the YouTube channel. And so you'll need the InkJoy pens. And also my tutorial shows you where to get refills for them. These are the Pentel refills. The inner gel. So there's a link to all that in the other tutorial. So you're going to need your ink pen. You're going to need spray paint. And so if you're using different colors, it's good if you base coat the pen with a similar color. That way, if there's any of the pen showing through and the cracks, you don't really notice it as much. And then your stones. And then you're going to need some sort of adhesive. And I don't have the bottle in here with me, but I use supertite fusion tack. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. I believe it's on Amazon. I'll try to include some links for you. That's my favorite glue to use. It does dry clear. These little precision tip bottles are really good. Those are on Amazon. I'll also include a link. You just take the lid off, this little plastic rubber lid, and you put it back on when you're finished. And then you need some sort of picker-upper tool. And my favorite one, the best in the market, is the Crystal Katana. It's from thecrystalninja.com. You can get this at Hobby Lobby. Some Michaels has them. But you can also order them from thecrystalninja.com. She is amazing. Kelly is the queen of blinging all things. She blings cars with these. She makes these. She owns the patent to them. So support her. It's really, really great company to support. Okay, so I'm going to start by using the, these were 12s. I wrote 10 on one thing. I guess I had 10 on the brain. I don't know which one's the ink pen. 12. Okay. So I'm going to get started. And I just keep these stuck in a tumbler. Sorry, my camera angle. I was just trying to be able to see. I just stick these in an empty tumbler. Also show in the other video how to make a little holder for them. So if you wanted to work on a bunch at a time, you could. I don't know how much to charge for these. These do take a while. They're very time consuming. But you can work on them in little bits and pieces. Maybe while you're on break at work, while you're Netflixing, you know, while you're marathoning on TV, things like that. So, you know, it's up to you on what you want to charge for them. I'm just kind of making them for fun because I like to bling stuff. When you bling stuff, it's good to keep the adhesive bottle upside down, and that way the adhesive stays close to the tip. I have this old teacup here that I usually just toss it in when I'm not using it, like that. Don't know how this became my container, but it did. Okay, so let's get started. So the first step is you want to get a nice even row right here of one row of these, and then you're going to wait a few hours so that glue can really dry before you move to the next rows. So I'm just dumping a few out in the lid here. And I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on where y'all can watch me. Maybe. I just used you a couple days ago. Come on. There it goes. So you don't want too much adhesive. And if you haven't blinged anything before, then practice makes perfect. When you first start blinging something, I suggest that you bling something for yourself and you use it. Like, this is one of the first things that I blinged, this tumbler here, and I've been using it since like May of last year and haven't lost a single stone. So use it and try to see if what you're doing is working. So I'm going to lay these. So this will be what's called the honeycomb pattern, because they interlock like honeycombs. Make sure you have good lighting. I don't have the best lighting in here at the moment. Because you don't want to get eye strain. So this little tip is sticky and it grabs on to the stone and picks it up and then releases it into your adhesive. So there are other adhesives. There's like fusion tack that you can use. There's gem tack that you can use as well. The supertite fusion tack that I use is non-toxic, and I like that because your hand touches it, and some people do put pens in their mouths, so it's something to think about. Okay, so the SS12s make a perfect line around the size of that pen, the barrel of the pen. Just trying to get to focus. It's too bright and shiny for my camera. Alright, I locked it, but there. So there's no gaps or anything, but what I want to make sure is that they are all even. So I'm going to pull this off of the stick, and I'm going to try to do it where y'all can see it. I'm just going to gently try to kind of tap down on these, just to kind of see if we can get them all pressed against the mat on my desk. Whoop, so that we know they are all on a level playing field. And that will help get your row started so that they will be as even as possible when you continue. So these are clear crystal with silver backs, and these are crystal AB. So this AB stands for Aurora Borealis, and that means they have this like rainbow glow to them. So these are my favorite. So I don't know why I went for these first. Probably just to see if I like the pen, and then once I did know I like the pen, now I'm going to make this one for myself, because the ABs match everything on my desk and my tumbler and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to stick this back on, carefully stick this back on the dowel. And just kind of check it and make sure that they all look even. Alright, and then I'm going to move to another one. And then I'm going to go do some other stuff for a few hours, and it might be tomorrow before I get back to these. But I'll record it as I go, and I'll edit it all together so y'all can see. Especially the tip, where it's curved. I need to clean out my bottle. I think it's getting a little bit gunked up. So I think any bigger of a stone would just be too big, and these may be really too big. I don't know. They do happen to fit perfectly around the barrel, so I guess I need to give one to a friend and see what she thinks about the size. You do not epoxy these, because if you put epoxy on top of rhinestones, they'll lose their facets. And they won't be sparkly. Now you can do a base layer of glitter and put epoxy on that and then do the rhinestones. That's a possibility too. But every layer that you do, usually that first layer is not smooth. So everything you do is going to make this pen fatter than it might need to be. So those are just things to think about. My computer screen went off. So if you get glue on your katana, your picker-upper tool, you can clean it with alcohol, rubbing alcohol. Just checking to make sure they're all level and spaced well. And if you want to pull it off, try to get it to check the level you can. That one didn't look like it was pushed down all the way. Okay, so I'm going to do this to the other two that I have, and I will come back and show you how to start on row 2 once this glue has dried. And I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. Hi friends, so it's been a couple of hours and I was going to show you how to put the next row of stones on, and I also did some math for you so you know how many stones to have. My official title screen here. So there were 42 rows vertically. There are 11 SS12 stones around the circumference of the pen tube, and so that would be 462 SS12 stones altogether. And then for the very tip top, you'll need some smaller filler stones. So when you're ordering stones, that way you know how many you need, because that can always be a gamble. Okay, so I'm going to put another row of adhesive. And again, this is supertite fusion tack. I bought this at Hobby Lobby, and I got the little needle-nosed bottle from Amazon, and I'll have links to that in the description. So I just dabbed a row around, and you'll get used to how much glue you need. And then I dumped out some of the SS12s in the lid here. So I'm taking my crystal katana from crystalninja.com, and I'm dabbing it on the tip of, so you see that stone is stuck there, and I'm going to nestle this stone in between those two. This is what's called the honeycomb method. So if this first row here was not dry and set, when I nestled that, I'm gently using some force. These stones here, let me use my pointer end. These stones here would move and fall off, and so your lines are going to get all wonky. So that's why you gotta wait. So you can do 2 or 3 more rows right now, as long as that first row is good and set. And I find if I do any more than that, then I start to press things out of line, and my art doesn't look as good. To make sure and keep y'all in the camera. It's hard to watch what I'm doing in the camera and in real life. Back you out a little bit. So there's different patterns that you can do. This one is called the honeycomb method. It's my favorite. It's kind of the easiest. You can get kind of OCD with it. Just kind of zone out. So if you use too much glue, you'll see it squirting up in between your stones. And if you don't use enough glue, your stones will fall off. So that's why I always recommend that you use your art yourself for a little while and see like how your hand heats it up. Does it fall off your do the stones fall off when you're just using it every day at your desk, things like that. You put it in your purse and let it knock around for a few days. Do any of the stones fall off? So, I'll do one more row. And then I'll move on to one of the others because I'm working on 4 of these at a time. So like when you're taking a small break at your job, or like I said, if you're watching TV, you just kind of stop every few minutes, every 5 minutes or so, like, or stop every couple hours and take 5 minutes. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the camera. To see where you're at, to see if you're ready to put some more rows on. I mean, and I guess if you're good enough, I don't trust myself. If I keep going with more than this, I feel like my honeycomb pattern's going to get off. And you start, when you're trying to line things up, like when I'm lining this one, if I push too hard, then these will pop up vertically off of the tube. And then, so not only is the stone that you're pushing not adhered properly, your rows are going to get really off and out of alignment, and it just doesn't look as precise. So, you know, there is probably a good muscle memory that you can know after you do this for so long that you'll know how not to press too hard. But I just would rather wait for the glue to dry than risk messing up like 5 rows deep and trying to fix that later. I like to slow and steady wins the race. I like to kind of play it safe. Also, if you use too much glue, it'll get on the tip of your pickup tool and makes it less sticky. That's so pretty. So see how prettier these are than just the clear ones? These have a silver backing on them. Both of them have a silver backing, but the AB has that rainbow effect. It just makes it more more blingy, I guess. But these are pretty too, the clear ones. Okay, so there's one. I did one of these rows right before I hit record, so we're gonna do this one. And I'll come back as I'm doing each one and just maybe speed through them and show you how to do a whole pen in the video. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll try to check that. We are trying to get 1,000 subscribers here in 2021 to our channel. And also there's several groups out there called like beginner blingers, and there's other bling Facebook groups that you can join, and everyone is more than happy to share their wisdom and their knowledge with you guys. Messed with it too much. Let go. So pretty. Alright, I'm gonna let that one dry because I've kind of poked it too much. You also want to get glass stones, or crystal. Sometimes they're called crystal. They're to me they're higher quality, and they shine more. They do have jelly, or sometimes they're called resin stones, and those are plastic, and they don't shine as much as the glass, but they are a little bit cheaper. So if you want to practice with those, you can. But when you're looking for stones, price them. And I try not to pay more than $1 a stone, at least for the SS20s. I mean, $1, I'm sorry. I try not to pay more than, oh, this is so pretty. A penny a stone. So usually 1,440 come in a bag of like SS20s. And so, paying over $15 with shipping would be under $15 with shipping would be my max. And so a lot of these glitter companies sell them, so you can add them to your cart when you're buying glitter. So you're already, paying for that shipping when you're buying your glitter. And you're supporting the local glitter companies as well. So just tap your lid, and it'll flip some of them over for you. And they have special trays that have little ribs in them, and you can get those, but you don't always need them. And also a mat. I have some of the Crystal Ninja mats. They're made of neoprene, and they help to tump over the stones as also. So if you have a big mixture out that you're trying to kind of do a random mix, then those neoprene mats are really good. And of course, if you want to be very, very fancy and very expensive, you can get the Swarovski, I always say that wrong, crystals. Oopsie. I pushed too hard, I got talking, and made those go mess up. So that's why you gotta go slow. Get a little bit more adhesive right there. So see, if I was like 5 or 6 rows deep with wet adhesive, that could have been really ugly. And if it does get real ugly on you, you do mess it up, just walk away from it, let it dry, and you can use your fingernails and pull some of these up and start over. Start those rows over. I had to do that the other day. So slow and steady wins the race. So that's why you do a bunch at a time, then you're kind of being productive while staying slow. I think those kind of got off a little bit, but we're not gonna force it. I wish the camera would focus a little better. Oh, it's so pretty. Guys, this is my favorite color, if that's called a color. Okay, so I will be back when I get ready to do some more. And I might just speed up the clock, the video on that. And then we'll eventually get to the end where I'll show you how to do the tiny stones up there. Hi friends, I'm back. So it's morning, and This is about as far as I've got on each one of the 4. They're all about that same level. So I'll keep going throughout the days and keep recording so you can see how long it takes to finish one, and then I'll show you how to do the tip here that is rounded. So we get to focus. Because you can't, I don't put the regular stones, the regular size stones on it. Let's see, put little smaller stones. So we get to focus. So those are a little bit smaller up there by the clicker. All right. You don't want that glue line to come out here when it's trying to dry, because when you go to put your next row of stones on, it's going to get stuck on that glue line and not want to butt up close to the stones in front of it. So you have to make sure that you use just the right amount of glue. That's a that's a practice thing. Alright, so that was 3 rows, so I'm going to let this one dry, and then I'll come back to it in a little bit. Alright, and I'm going to finish the other 3. I'm going to do, well, not finish, I'm going to do 3 rows in the other 3, and let those sit for an hour or 2, and then during my day, as I get a chance, I'll come back to these. Alright, I'll see y'all later. Bye. Hi friends, so it's been a couple of hours, and you can see I'm about halfway, almost halfway done with this one. So I've been working my way up on all 4 pens. So I'm just gonna keep it going. So as long as your base of your pen is the same, you know, kind of real similar color, then those gaps that might be in there won't be noticeable. But if your base was like black and you were using these, then you would definitely see that color through any gaps that might be there. Alright, so I'm going to keep working, and I'll probably just come back when I get to the edge, and I'll show you that, guys. I think y'all can figure out what I'm doing by now. Bye! Hi friends, so I got to the very tip of this pen, and almost forgot to show you what I was doing. So this one ended up, I guess I was a little bit off on my rows. I should get that to focus better. This one ended up being a little bit more perfect toward the end than this one. You can see how I had to bring the tiny fillers down a little bit more than what I am on this. So this one already has glue on it. And so I'm just continuing the honeycomb. And I want to make sure that if I push the clicker, I'm not pushing on any of the stones. So that was okay to do. If it was any shorter of a distance right there, then I would need to go ahead and start using fillers. Because the act of pushing that clicker down would knock off your stones immediately. And the filler package from Pink and Purple Monkey that has the SS12s in it probably does not have enough for you to enough SS12s for you to do a whole pen. So you might have to find some SS12s in bulk from like Be Createful or even Amazon. And I did the math and it was like, where did I put it? I cleaned up my, there it is. Cleaned up my office today. So it's about 42 rows total. So, and there's 11 stones around the pen. So with math, that means it's 462 SS12 stones, and then you'll need some smaller filler stones. So, so all that's done. So if I was to press on the little clicker, nothing's gonna hit. But now I need to, see if I can get y'all to see that. I need to do that very tip top with teeny tiny little stones so that it covers the spray paint. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. This one's finished. So the SS 10 and under usually come in like their little kit because they're so tiny. They're not going to be in just a solo package, usually. And so I put them in these medicine containers here. And so I could just physically see the size. So I think those would be 10, 8, and so forth, to where they're teeny tiny. So I'm going to just see what happens, what I need. Pull some out. You can't see that. Maybe you can see them up here. It's kind of blurry. So I'm going to get some different sizes. Just kind of get a few of them out. And the roll, or I don't know if it's a roll, I just saw a lady had dropped a whole bunch of hers on the floor. So don't ever get out more stones than you want to pick up. So if you're like sitting on the couch and you have a cat or a dog and they could jump up in your lap, just pour out a tiny little handful. Don't open the whole container because they will jump up there and knock everything off. Okay, so this is probably a 10 or smaller, because what's on the pen already, sorry, the little, shoot, I'm gonna mess it up. I did. The dowel's in my way. It's hitting my office supplies. This is why you let it dry. So it like made it. Ooh, mess it up even more. Okay, I may have, nope. Sorry, the camera lens is over here, and so I'm used to it kind of feeling like it's in the middle because I'm not so close up. So I apologize for my camera angles. Okay, I think I fixed it. Okay, so now we want to see what size stone we need on this tip, because I don't remember. And I think these may even be smaller than the 12s. Those might be like 8. Okay, so we're going to go even smaller. I don't know if you can even see that. See that little stone on there? So I'm just going to put those around. So at this point, you're just going to do the best you can. It's probably best to let everything dry before you get to this, but I was wanting to go ahead and get it filmed so I can start editing, get this video posted. I need to make that little dowel shorter so you can see. So, because it's like a bend, it's kind of hard to figure out how you want to do it. Y'all can't even see those up there. I can pull those any closer. And they do make some like kind of like fishing tackle boxes that are good, but the dividers aren't always completely down through the very bottom of the plastic. So that's why those medicine, those Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday medicine pill containers are good, because they are completely closed off. And so, like anything that you make, I suggest you make one for yourself and test it for like several weeks. See if anything's going to fall off, because you don't want to make one of these and turn around and sell it tomorrow, and then they call you, you know, next week and say it all fell off. You go, well, that makes sense because I didn't test it. So I've been using that other one. Also, once you finish these, it does take the glue many days to completely cure. Of course, hopefully these won't be wet anytime ever. I don't know, unless someone sticks it in their mouth. Thankfully, I don't have that habit. Not that I'm aware of. I might need to watch myself. But if you give it to like a nurse, he or she might use some hand sanitizer on it. So, you know, that's, oh, see, it is kind of top heavy on the stick. So the hand sanitizer might mess up the glue. So that's just things to think about. It shouldn't mess it up once it's completely cured. And if you're using recommended glue for these. Okay, so I got like the very tippy top of that, but there's still, I'm just gonna keep knocking this all day. There's still like that, so need some better light in here. Woo. I'm just gonna take it off the stick now. I'll do that. Because it's just too long for my desk. It's much easier to hold now. Okay, so there's a very little bit there that I'm going to try to use some tiny, like maybe 4s. I don't even know how big those are. You can mark your cases too. I didn't mark these. My finger. So I need just a little loose, tiniest little bit of glue. Trying to see if y'all could see. This might not even be worth trying to do. So on these, you probably just want to squirt just a smidge, and then just kind of spread that smidge around. Some magnifying glasses might be helpful too. I think I need to get some of those. I bet my husband has some I could borrow. I didn't have, I was in the living room when I did the other one. So see how small, maybe, that stone is? It's just kind of dangling off. It looks real small till you stick it on there and you're like, dang, that might be too big. Hard to do this and watch the camera at the same time. So these are usually referred to as fillers because they fill in spaces that the larger ones don't fill up. So if you're on a website and it says fillers, that's what that part is. And so you want your fillers to match. Okay, so that might be all I can really do. It's so pretty though. Make sure that this is dry if you're holding on to it, because you'll take the stones off. I may have taken a stone off. That right there probably is not dry at the moment. I was on a roll. And I think my rose, my honeycomb got just a little bit off. But because that base color matches it so well, it's unless you're really OCD, it's not that big of a deal. So I'm going to put that back on the stick to dry. Whew, I'm clumsy today. So I started out on these pens here at the flat base. This is where the tip of the pen is, because it's a nice straight line, and that's where people see more, I think, anyway. Oh, that color's so pretty. So this is not AB, this is just clear crystal with silver backs on a silver base. That's what this one is. And then this one here is the crystal AB, which is my favorite color ever. Oh, it's gorgeous, guys. Look at all of that. Okay, so I'll try to take some pictures to put on the thumbnail of these, and so I still have quite a bit of the others to do, but I can go ahead and start editing the video. Alright, so that's how you bling in InkJoy Gel, Papermate InkJoy Gel Pens, and I'll put a link to the pens in the comments, and a link to some of the reliable suppliers for the stones. Alright, y'all have a great evening and happy blinging. Bye, guys.